Hello YouTubers, Darren here from Grass Ranch Garage, and today we're going to be swapping a Honda engine from one push mower frame to another. First, you're going to remove the cable for the blade brake by squeezing the clip on this side and pulling the cable backwards. Just like that. Then, using a Phillips head screwdriver, you're going to want to loosen up the clamp holding the throttle cable in place on the mower. And remove the cable. Then you're going to want to pull the excess cable through for your pull start, and then remove it from the loop by sliding it between the gap here and the bracket that holds it in place. Like that. Then you're going to want to tilt the mower over on its side opposite of the carburetor so that you can remove the blade. It's important that you do this opposite side of the carburetor so that the carburetor does not fill up with gas or oil while you're removing the blade. Then with a 14mm socket, remove the two blade retaining bolts here and here. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my time and scrape some of this grass off so we can get to that cover. Now with a socket and ratchet, go ahead and remove the 10mm bolt here and just below it on the opposite side of the deck. Now at this time, if you have your mulching plug in the back, lift the rear cover and remove the plug. Once you remove the plug, you'll be able to access this 10mm bolt, and then you'll be able to remove the cover for the drive belt. With all the bolts removed, you should be able to remove your belt drive cover. And it looks like we've got more grass to clean. And there's the belt. And a quick side note, YouTubers, the whole reason we're swapping this motor onto a different push mower frame is because of the rust. It's quite extensive. And that's because if you do not clean the grass out from underneath your mower, it collects moisture and then it begins to rot the deck out. This was a Honda Harmony 2. It was a quite expensive push mower, but we'll be able to salvage the motor for a decent frame. Now after you've slit the drive belt off the pulley, grab yourself a 12mm socket and remove the 4 engine mounting bolts here, here, and here. Now to explain why I didn't completely remove the belt, having the little bit of extra tension from the belt helps hold the mower in place once you remove all 3 of the engine mount bolts so that it doesn't fall off. It just makes it a little easier to remove the engine. Now with the engine unbolted, you can simply rock the engine, removing the belt from around the crankshaft, and then pull the whole engine assembly off the mower housing. And it really is just that easy. And this here is the frame we'll be placing that Honda engine on. It is pretty much just your basic 2-in-1 combo Murray push mower. 4 tires, all the same size, so it's not a high wheel. It's not self-propelled, but it's a fairly heavy deck with solid rubber tires, and it should make a pretty good transplant. And now we're going to remove the Honda blade adapter, and this is how your puller should be set up on the motor. What you're going to want to do is place a 14mm socket or wrench on here and turn and pull the adapter off the crankshaft. And once you have the old blade adapter off, you can go ahead and sand down the crankshaft, add a little bit of never seize, and if you have a new blade adapter this time for a new blade, this would be the time to put it on there. I'm going to install a universal blade adapter, and I'll be installing a universal blade on this mower. Now what I like to do after I sand it down is I like to take some acetone on a rag and clean the end of the crankshaft off. Get off any of that loose rust that you've removed with your sandpaper or your emery cloth. Now we're going to apply some never seize to the crank all around if you can. You can't use too much of this stuff for this job. Down in the keyway. You can even put a little bit on the end where the bolt goes, just to keep the bolt from getting stuck. Now what I like to do, if I'm using a used blade adapter, is sand down and wipe out with acetone the inside of the blade adapter, then allow it to dry. And then you can take your blade adapter, line up the keyway, and install it right onto the mower. I also put a small amount of anti-seize on the blade bolt, and then thread the blade bolt in as well. Once you've test fit everything, you can then remove the blade and the blade bolt and install the engine on the mower frame. I'd like to take this time to apologize. Previously in the video I said there were 3 mounting bolts on this Honda engine. There are actually 4. But once you have the engine secured, you can then go ahead and place the blade on the mower. And it should look like this after it's installed. Once you spun the blade with a spark plug wire removed so that the engine doesn't accidentally start, and you've checked for clearance all around the blade, you can then set the mower upright and begin connecting the blade brake. Alright YouTubers, just to show you what I did here, I went ahead and I used the factory Honda Harmony throttle control and blade brake cable and attached it to this Murray blade brake, and the cables reach down to the motor to their original locations, and everything does work properly. The throttle and the blade brake. Then you simply pull the blade brake, pull the cord, and place it in the new bracket on the handle. Now all there's left to do is test start the mower. And that's it. You successfully swapped the Honda motor from one frame to another. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Get out there and enjoy your weekend.